Did. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today for today's webinar, where we'll talk about cooling down and leveling up. We'll talk about a quick summer recap and off-season guide so that you can be as successful as possible no matter what you're doing this off-season. If you're closing your pool, if you're keeping your pool open, and a little special announcement at the end if you're looking to kind of branch out with your Swimply earnings. So just a little bit of housekeeping. This is going to be a recorded session, so kindly mute your line so we don't get any unnecessary feedback throughout. Please leverage the chat feature where Ariana will be in there answering any questions you have throughout the presentation. You can put it in the chat and Ariana will be there answering it. We will also, and once we're actually on the chat feature, I always love, it's been a while since we last chatted. If you guys can, write where you're chiming in from, how long you've been a host on Swimply, and, maybe something interesting. So shoot that in the chat now so we can get the conversation started. And finally, we will have a Q&A session at the end. If, we don't get to any questions in the chat, or if you just have something you want to call out, we'll open up the floor at the end to keep the conversation going. Alrighty, so quick agenda for today. We'll quickly talk about, summer recap, nothing too heavy, just a little bit of like celebration on the amazing summer that I know I had as a Swimply host. We usually have a slide introducing myself, so let me introduce myself. I'm sorry, I apologize. My name is Yona. If you guys don't already know, I am a Swimply host on the platform, and I am also, I've worked on the Swimply team for the past 3 years, so I get kind of both sides of it. So I, get the hosting side of dealing with guests day to day and dealing with the app day to day, and I share that with the Swimply team. And I also have the insight of kind of what's going on behind the scenes that I love to share with fellow hosts. So that's a little bit of background on me. So we'll talk about the summer recap. I know I had an awesome summer full of swims, and across the board we had a great summer. We'll talk about that a little bit. Some host highlights we'll go through. I think we have our top 3 hosts by number of bookings, so we'll celebrate them really, really quickly. Honestly, I don't even know if they're on the call, but hopefully they are, and they'll be surprised to be on the podium. We'll talk about some off-season prep / closing your pool. I personally am out here in Long Island, New York. So if anyone else is out here on Long Island, shout out. But it is going to get cold, and here in New York, we close our pools. So we'll talk about the proper way to close your pool in order to keep your search ranking high and to, make sure you don't have any surprise guests in February. We'll have, like I said, a special announcement about, Swimply branching out a little bit. And then finally, we'll talk through the open Q&A. Alrighty, so just on the summer recap, let's go through. These are just a few of the features that we've launched. If you've been around for a while, there are more smaller features that we've launched, but I just wanted to highlight a few that we launched, some of them at the beginning of the summer, going into the summer, and some of them throughout the summer based directly on our host feedback. So one that we launched that I've seen the hosts love, and it is really useful, and I've personally used it, is blocking. We now have the ability to block guests in the chat from booking the pool, from receiving fans features, because I know, a lot of hosts didn't want to send out fans features because there was a guest in their fans that they didn't want to give a promo code to. So you can now block them and they won't get those fans messages. Host promo codes. This is a really cool one. Hosts were always reaching out to us to create promo codes for friends, family, schools, all different types, just, repeat swimmers. We now, created the ability directly in the app to create a promo code and give it out to your friends, family, etc. So if you haven't checked that out, please do. Reviews by guest invite. This is actually one that kind of went under the radar. And if you don't know about it, it's a really cool feature. Basically, when a guest books your pool, they can then invite friends to your pool. It's called, post, but they, can invite their friends and they'll kind of download the app and be part of the reservation as well. And those guests can actually now leave reviews on your listing. So if you have a large booking, let's say 10, 20 people, if the guest uses this feature to invite their guests, and they'll get, all the information they need, the address, the check-in time, checkout time, they'll get all the information they need. So it's really useful for them as well. They can all come to the reservation, leave a review, and then hopefully, they will then come back and book your pool because they already have the Swimply app and they're already, a customer. So that's a really cool way for, Swimply and us as hosts to be able to take advantage of people who are at our pools to hopefully become our customers, even though they were just a guest of the person making the booking. So that's a really cool one that I think went under the radar a little bit. So please check that one out. Tiered and per guest pricing. So this one has a bit of a history. Going into the summer, I don't know how many of you guys were hosts last year, and coming into the summer, we changed our pricing system. We switched to tiered pricing, and this was to raise conversion rates across the platform and get more swimmers in pools. That's our goal. That will always be our goal, to get swimmers in pools enjoying their time. And that, makes money obviously for us as hosts. So using this new tiered pricing structure, our conversions did go up. However, we heard some feedback from hosts that the tiered pricing, just didn't work for their business and how they operated their business, which is fine. And so we brought back halfway through the summer the option for hosts to choose. You can either choose tiered pricing or per guest pricing. So we wanted to give you guys as hosts the ability to run the business how you want to. And we still are seeing a little bit raised conversion rates for hosts using tiered pricing. So we will always suggest tiered pricing that, gets more swimmers into your pool and also raises you in the, search algorithm, because it is based off of conversion. However, if you are a host that tiered pricing just doesn't work for the way you want to run your business, we wanted to give you as host the power to decide. So you can now try it out, switch back, every other day you can change your pricing structure. It is totally up to you as a host. Another change that we made, actually, this was coming into the summer, is the calendar 2.0. We really revamped the calendar from the ground up. And again, if you haven't yet kind of dove in to that, I really recommend you do, because there are actually a lot of new features kind of buried in there. For example, you can now, and this is something I use personally, you can raise rates on specific days. So Labor Day, for example, is on a Monday, and I, as a host, I have a weekday discount. So on Monday, usually I charge 10% less than I do on the weekend. However, on Labor Day, I wanted to charge more. So I just put a boost on my Labor Day, 30%. So basically it would be 20% above my regular weekend price. And therefore on these, July 4th, Labor Day, Memorial Day, all these kind of high dollar days, you can easily add a boost. And the other way around, I've played around with adding discounts on, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, days that I had availability. I would just lower the price and get bookings at lower rates. So that's kind of one. You can also be instant book on certain days and request booking on the other. I've heard from hosts that they want it to be instant book, but request booking on the weekends, so they can kind of get those bigger bookings on the weekends. So you can do that with the new calendar. There are tons of awesome new features in the calendar. So if you haven't, please check it out. And finally, one thing I do want to call out here is myself, along with Ariana, we're, always working to better our app based on your feedback and host feedback directly, because that is the best way that we can learn what needs to be fixed. So, you can always give us feedback at hostcreditswimplay.com, in the Facebook group. But I wanted to create a way for you guys to talk directly to us and then to the product team in an organized way, so that we can really categorize what's important to you guys as hosts and to myself as a host, and for the product team to be able to see that and prioritize it based off of that. So me and Ariana were working on a form, whether it'll be, a simple type form or a Google form, we're going to put it in the Facebook group. So if you are not part of the host Facebook group, please join. Ariana can drop a link there. But we'll put it in there, and please give us your feature requests in there. I will be looking at it personally. Ariana will be looking at it. Our head of product will be looking at it. So any features that would be really, really important to you, put your thoughts in there, so that we can have a very clear and detailed feedback form from you guys to be able to better our app for the 2024 season. Alrighty. One thing I did want to call out, just because events, Swimply host events, have a very dear place in my heart. And I love going to them. I've been to many of these over the years. And if you have been to one, you've kind of felt the magic of a Swimply host event. And if you haven't, hopefully we will have an event near you, so you can kind of join the party. So we've had 13 host events in our top cities. I actually think it's higher than that number. We've had, multiple in New York and New Jersey, in, Washington, D.C. area. However, we've had many events across the country this summer. Every single one I've been to, every single one I've heard about. We even have this one here. This is actually in Australia. It's our Australia team at an event. The learnings and the community love that I feel leaving an event, and I think everyone that has been to an event feels leaving an event, is unmatched. And I just wanted to, give a huge thank you to all the hosts that have hosted events and helped us with these events. And we're looking to do more. We had a few events this past week. We had in Austin, we had one in LA, in Dallas, and Toronto. So if any of you guys are at those events, put that in the chat. Tell us how it was. And we're looking to do more throughout, ending the summer, just some summer celebration events in different cities. So keep your eye out in the Facebook group, at your email, for an event near you. And we're going to keep doing these events going into the winter, going into next season. I love getting this, we're a community, we're building this together. We're all pioneers in this. And, there's nothing like getting the community together so we can learn from each other, get some free swag, just hear feedback. There's almost always team members at these events to hear your feedback. So thank you. If you've hosted an event, if you're interested in hosting an event, Ariana is the person to reach out to. So definitely reach out to Ariana if you're interested in hosting an event in your city, and stay tuned for an event near you to go, because they are awesome. Alrighty, we have a few stats here. This is kind of super light. However, for me, it's a teaser for an awesome recap email that the team has been working on that will give, tons of stats about your summer and just celebration. So, just our average booking duration was 2.7 hours, which is awesome. That, our booking durations are getting longer, which means higher earnings, higher AOVs, higher, price points for those bookings for us as hosts. And our average group size was 7.7 guests, which again is higher than last year. So we're seeing a little bit more of the larger groups come on and celebrations happening at Swimply. During COVID, we really took off, and then it was really small groups. Now people are starting to come together around Swimply's, have birthday parties, baby showers. We've seen it all. So definitely, if you aren't already, I would suggest allowing groups up to 15, because we see like those are slowly getting more and more common on Swimply, and those are where you can start earning some really significant numbers of when it comes to money. So these are just some stats. Again, team is working on an awesome email that I can't wait to recap everyone's summer. It will be customized to you, so you'll get some awesome stats and stuff, just celebrating each person and their contribution to like the marketplace and the awesome Swimply community. Alrighty, host highlights. So again, I just want to celebrate. These are our 3 hosts. We have a little podium here with the most bookings in 2023 so far. And if any of you guys are on the call, congrats. These numbers blow my mind. They are absolutely crazy. So we have Annie and Josh with 434 bookings. Rick and Diana, actually Emmanuel with 432, and Rick and Diana with 405, all over 400. Just the amount of guests that the amount of smiles that come out of those amount of bookings is just insane, and just the happiness that is on people's faces after enjoying a pool. People that don't have access to a pool. So really appreciate you guys and everyone else, myself included, that isn't on this list, and just really creating the happiest marketplace in the world. And it's just, I know for myself, the best part of hosting is when I see the kids run into the backyard and they all go like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And they just run and jump into the pool. And that's really what we're trying to build here. So thank you, especially to these 3 hosts, but to everyone really for being a part of that and building this, the happiest marketplace in the world. Alrighty, let's talk about moving into the off season. We'll talk about, if, again, like I said, if you're closing your pool like I am, what to do and how to do it and why you should do it this way. Very important. And then we'll talk about, maybe there's people that live in Phoenix, LA, Texas, where you're not necessarily closing your pool, how you can extend your earnings. So if you are pausing your pool, if you live in New York, Toronto, Chicago, Detroit, anywhere where it gets too cold to swim and you close your pool, listen up. This is really important to do this properly for a few reasons that we'll talk about right after these slides. So I'm going to talk about how to do it, and then we'll talk about why it's important to do it. And it's really, really important. So here's how to do it. So you want to go to manage listing. You can do this in the app or on the website. You want to go to manage listing. That's either under profile or it's going to be under profile in the app or in the hamburger menu on the website. Then you want to go to host settings availability. So this screenshot here, all these screenshots are from web. So again, in the hamburger menu, you have manage listing. Then you will go, you have 4 options here. You'll go to host settings and under availability here, which is a little bit cut out of the screenshot, but down below here, you see the availability. And underneath availability, you will see right here, the availability, you'll see listing status. So you'll want to go into listing status and you'll click edit and you will choose paused or off season. You want to click that. You're going to choose a reason. The top reason that's going to be is I'm closing for the season. You want to select that reason. You will then select dates. You can either, if you're pausing your pool, if you're closing your pool today, you can select today, and you can also choose a date that you plan to reopen your pool, or you can plan in advance. I plan to keep my pool open through the end of the month, so I set my pause date for October 1st, which I think is also the default, and then I plan to open my pool. I think I set it to May 1st here in New York, so when I plan to open it. So you can choose your close date and your future open date. And then you're going to select pause. And if it's scheduled, you'll see here, you'll stay active for now, but your pool, you'll say you have a scheduled pause for, and it'll say the dates that you're scheduled pause for. It will also, in the meantime, block those dates right now so that no one can book your pool. So those are the steps to take. If anyone missed that, this is recorded. We'll send this out as well. There's also an article on how to do this. If Ariana, if you want to link that article that has all the steps of how to do that in the chat as well. So those are the steps. So what will happen once you pause your pool? Once you pause your pool, so for my pool, come October 2nd, it will no longer be available in search. It will disappear from the search results page, which is good because my pool will not be available. So anyone clicking on my pool and messaging me, or if I'm instant booking it would not be a good thing. So why pause your pool and make it disappear completely from the search results? The most important part of this is to keep your search ranking. Remember, the search ranking is focused on conversion rates of swimmers clicking on your pool, then getting to checkout, and then swimming in your pool. If your pool is showing up in the search, but it's not actually available, you will only hurt your conversion rate over time because people will be like, wow, awesome, this is a sick pool and it's cold outside and I can still swim. That's great. Click on it. They'll see, oh, it's not actually available. Oh, it's not actually heated. Oh, it's, they'll message you and you'll be like, oh, sorry, it's not available. And again, just hurting the conversion rate every time someone hopefully wants to book your pool and then we'll see, oh, it's not available. So that's why you shouldn't just block out the dates in your calendar. You should actually do this so that people won't click your pool and try to book it and then realize that it's unavailable. So really, really important. That is the main thing. You want to make sure you keep whatever your conversion rate is right now, you want to keep that going into 2024. So that is the most important part with the conversion rate. And then also incoming bookings next season. Another really important reason why it's important to do it properly and select why you're pausing as going off season is so that we can then, going into the 2024 season, we can see, okay, when are these pools going back live? And we can start pushing them to swimmers. Hey, check out this pool. It's going to be live next week. Check out if you want to book it before it gets booked up. Hey, these are a list of pools that are going to be live in the next month in your area. We can start telling swimmers when our pools are opening to get those bookings in advance. Because we see that, as we lead up to the summer, some of the bigger events get booked in advance. And if we know, hey, this pool is paused, but it's coming live this date, we can then, if people search for a date, we can make sure it populates and it shows that, hey, this pool is available, even though it's paused. That's why it's really important to make sure pausing for the right reason and make sure your dates are accurate. So really important, not easy steps to take, and it will only benefit you and us as hosts. So if you haven't done so yet, please check that out and make sure you do that properly. That's if you are pausing your pool and you live in a cold area like myself. And just a few tips to have a productive off season, and also like right before the off season. So updating photos. You may want to, you may realize that, hey, my photos weren't the best this season, but come, April and early May of next season, the flowers aren't bloomed and, you don't have the full awesome pool feel. Now is a great time to take advantage of where your backyard still looks nice, your flowers are bloomed, etc. And you can get some great pictures thinking about next year instead of like coming to next year and be like, oh shoot, I really want to update my photos, but now my pool doesn't look as pristine as it should. So it's a really good time if you do need to update your photos to get some great photos now before you kind of shut down your listing. Editing your listing, it's always good, time to go in and see any, changes you want to make and all that. And construction and yard work. If, you do want to make some upgrades to your yard, which we've seen, we did a poll once of, where Swimply hosts kind of invest the money they made from Swimply, and like a overwhelming amount said they put it towards enhancements in their backyard, whether it's, okay, I'm going to get a pool heater next year so I can get more bookings, or install a cabana or a bathroom or this. Now is the time to do it. So you're up and ready. I hear too often, oh yeah, I'm getting, a heater put in and it takes 30 days. The pool business now, everything takes a long time. So now is a good time to like get quotes. Also, the pool companies are a little less busy. Now is a good time to, get your construction, yard work done in preparation for next season. Alrighty, so a few other off-season income options that we have is, focus on other amenities. Think, NFL just started. A lot of NFL fans, people want to, even if they don't want to swim necessarily, they may want to, rent a poolside area. And this works more so in places like Texas where it's like warmer. In New York, it works a little bit less. But, if you do have, a nice outdoor kitchen, maybe a bar that people can go, they can grill, they can watch football. And even if they're not going into the pool because it's cold, they're still enjoying the space and they're enjoying, the amenities. So think about what other amenities you have and what you can offer besides for actually, the water of the pool and going swimming. People love hanging out around the pool. So that's something to focus on. Think about hot tubs. People, keep their hot tubs open. Even in New York, I know there's a few hosts that keep their hot tubs open when it's really cold, and you can just sit in the hot tub and relax on a cold evening. It's a really good date night or something like that. And also event hosting. Again, we've seen a lot of baby showers, birthday parties that happen at Swimply's, and people don't even go into the pool. They will hang out around the pool, but everyone's dressed up and not in bathing suits. So those can still happen as the weather cools, especially again in a place like LA and stuff like that. So think about possibly tailoring your listing to those events so that you can still host those in the off season. Alrighty, and now for the special announcement, we are officially branching into homes. So what are homes? So we want to, obviously we have the magic of Swimply that I think we've all experienced of, families having a great time together, hanging out, friends getting together, like I said, baby showers, birthday parties. The only problem is that the magic of Swimply in most places, like for me in New York, it only lasts 3 months. So we want to keep the magic going 12 months out of the year. So we've launched already, pickleball courts, tennis courts, basketball courts. That's already launched and going. However, not everyone has that. I know I don't have that as a host. So what we wanted to do is open up homes. And the idea behind homes is to bring these events and these, get-togethers, and Swimply is about bringing people together, whether it's, like I said, a baby shower, maybe it's Thanksgiving is coming up, maybe friends want to get together and do a Friendsgiving and they all live in kind of small apartments. They can rent a Swimply home, and it will have a kitchen, a nice living room where they can watch the football game and stuff like that, and keep that Swimply magic alive even when it's cold outside, even in markets like New York where it gets really cold, Toronto, that kind of stuff. So we're actually launching this as a beta pilot launch in LA. We're focused right now on LA. So if you are in LA and you're interested in this, we're actively looking to kind of get homes live there. And we're looking to quickly expand this across the country. We're doing this test in LA, throughout the rest of the month. and then we want to quickly learn and move across the country and really launch this as the winter approaches. So we'll have a form. We'll email all you guys a form if you are interested. If you know someone that maybe is interested, again, we saw that Swimply host referral bonus. So if you know someone that would be interested in this and has an awesome space to rent out, again, it would be an awesome indoor space, whether it's just a kitchen, awesome living room, a gym, studio, kitchen, patio, anything of the sort to create, bring that Swimply magic inside. So if you're interested, we'll send out a form to everyone here. Fill out that form. Again, it'll ask you, where you are, what you want to list, and someone will be in touch. If you're in LA, ASAP. If you are across the country, as soon as we launch in that city, we will be in touch to hopefully get your listing live and, get you first. So as you can see here, we already have the category up. This in LA, we have, a few houses already listed under homes. So we're excited to get this going. I can't wait. It's really exciting. I'm personally, working pretty closely on this project. So it's been really, really fun and interesting. So I'm excited to see all the spaces you guys have to offer. Alrighty. We got through that pretty quickly, which I love. So I think we have a good 15 minutes for Q&A. I'll ask Ariana, was there anything in the chat that we want to talk about? Otherwise, we'll open it up. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on homes. Any thoughts, on the summer, on the winter, what your plans are with keeping the earnings going. But yeah, we'd love to hear that.
We got to everything in the chat, so anyone who has a question can just go ahead and raise their little hand icon.
Awesome. I see a question from Jamie. How will this be different from Airbnb? We're going to keep the per hour structure. So it's not going to be overnight rentals. It's going to be per hour. So again, the idea is for events, that kind of stuff. So that will be the differentiation here. Denise, I see you have a question. Here, update.
Yeah, hi. How you doing?
Good. Beautiful pool.
Thank you. So I'm in New Jersey. I'm in South Jersey, and you're New York, so same kind of weather. But my question is, I'm in near Atlantic City, near the shore, right? So we compete with the ocean, really. And when it's really hot, people come. And now the hurricane's coming, kind of, and so now we're getting some rentals.
Right? Hey, hopefully not. Hopefully no.
Well, you know what I mean.
Know yet.
Like the surf. Yeah, no, we're not going to get it. So, but the thing is, I'm noticing that I am the top pool in the area, and I don't even do as well as a lot of you guys, if you know what I mean. So is it because of where we are? Would you say, have you guys done any kind of algorithms with that? I mean, I did 5,000 this summer.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. I have 10,000 views because I'm promoting it, but I only have how many bookings? It was 50.
That's
good. Yeah, it's great. But
I don't want you to look at the 3 hosts that we highlighted and think that 50 is not a lot. 50 is a ton of bookings. Okay. That's awesome. You're looking at the top 3 across the country that are doing astronomical numbers. Right. 50 is a ton of $5,000. Now that being said, every market is going to have different demand. We're still growing. And I like to say, if you line up 10 people and you ask them, those 10 people, do you know what Airbnb is? Probably 9 will say yes. And if you ask them, do you know what Swimply is? Maybe 3 or 4. So we're still getting, and to me, that's opportunity for us. We're still getting to that point of more and more people are sharing and telling their friends about it. Right. So, and as we grow, different markets are going to, grow at different paces. But however, I will say 50 bookings and $5,000 is awesome. So congrats on that, first of all. But we're still growing. We're just getting started.
Yeah. Okay. We'll just keep all promoting it, right? And I do notice that when I ask everybody, where did you hear about us? They're all saying the Swimply app. No matter where I put it on social media, it's the app. They're not getting it from me. I put flyers. It's all from, so that's good. You guys are doing your job. So
just keep at it. And it's only the beginning. But awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty. Heath, what's up, Heath?
Hey, James, any chance of getting more control over promo codes? Because last time I checked, it was strictly percentage off. Anything where we could do a flat fee or an hourly rate change?
Interesting. Oh, like okay. So one thing that is on the roadmap that I've been pushing, and I think you'll like this one, special offers. That's kind of where for me, it's a good.
Sorry,
Sorry.
go ahead.
No worry. No worries. For me, the special offers will be a good catch-all where then it can be like, okay, we can talk about a price you want to do, and I'll be like, okay, here, $200 for your event. It's going to be a good catch-all to be able to
Also, a
do that.
custom quote.
Exactly. Special offers, custom quote. Exactly. That's kind of what I'm pushing because for me, that's the answer to all of that.
Yeah, if you guys could do a custom quote, that eliminates pretty much everything.
Fingers crossed. I'm trying to push to get it on the roadmap for either Q4 or Q1. So hopefully we'll get it. We'll get it on there.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Heath. All right, Floyd.
Sorry, it says Floyd. It's my husband's connection. But okay. So two questions I have are similar to the last one about the promo codes. Are we able to do it where it doesn't have to go to a large group? Like I have repeat guests and they want to come back, several times within a week. And yet I have to message all of my prior guests and not just that one individual. So I was wondering if there was going to be a change to something like that. And then the other question I had is, are we ever going to be able to just cancel a reservation while it's going on? I say this because we have tons of people who see all of our rules. They know what they are ahead of time. They get here and then they're in complete violation of about half of them, right? And so you have these folks in your yard, and even if you go out and you kindly say, hey, this is what you got going on, you need to stop it. And some of them are willing to, they don't always have control over their guests. So then it's like, how do I end this reservation without, having to go through the issues of reaching out to you guys to say, hey, they were in violation and I want to have even get a refund and things of that sort. So those were my first two questions.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so on the first one, actually, we actually already have that feature. So there's the fans feature where you, like you said, you send it to everyone and you create a promo code. But you can actually, and it's if you're in the app, it's in the marketing tab right underneath the fans feature, where you can just create a promo code and it won't send it to anyone. It will just create it for you, and then you can decide who you want to send it to. Either, just me, you can send it to just, your mom or her friends, or, you can decide who you want to send it to. So that actually we already have. So definitely check that out. It's in the marketing tab, and it's like just create custom promo code. For the canceling booking, so actually I saw a thing, how we need to be able to extend listing after a booking after it starts. So yeah, we're trying to give more and more controls to the host with editing reservations. We added that this summer, where hosts are able to edit reservations and add guests and all that. We are going to be adding extensions. We know that right now it doesn't work. It was supposed to work, but we're adding that. With the cancellation, again, I don't know if you necessarily want to cancel it once they're at your house, because the way host cancellation works is that they will get a refund, and I would be wary about giving them a refund until they leave. Like as a host, I would be like, hey, you have to leave. If I want to refund you, sure, I'll refund it. We'll talk to Swimply, but I wouldn't want to cancel. They get a refund, and then for all you know, they're not going to leave. Like if they're already not listening to your rules. So I would say, tell them, hey, either you need to listen to these rules or you need to leave, and then I will give you a refund. However, we can work that out. You can message, host Gary, even though it may take a few days, I know, but they can always push that refund whenever. So
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you. The other question I had about end of season, if I keep my pool active, right? Like right now, I come up at the top in the area, which is great. But if I keep my listing active, even though the pool gets shut down, because I'm in Pennsylvania, I'm in Harrisburg. So if I keep it active, the pool is closed, but they can rent the amenity of being here for like bonfires or outdoor kind of dinners, because we have this igloo thing, or movie nights. How do I need to edit the listing? Will it always come up under Swimply? Like people would still have to find me under Swimply? Is that how that works?
yeah, I would suggest, especially if you're at the top of the ranking, that means you have a great conversion rate, which is awesome. I would suggest pausing that listing that you have, and you can always create a new listing. Just under your profile, you can just create a new listing, and you create a separate listing for your igloo bonfire thing, because you want to make sure people aren't confused. As like, oh, I can book the pool, and then when they actually try to book the pool, they're like, oh shoot, it's closed, and they don't book it. And again, that's 1 point against conversion, which will lower you. So my recommendation would probably be to, whenever you close the pool, pause it, put the dates properly, all that we spoke about, which is really, really important to keep your search ranking. And then you create a new listing for, marshmallows and bonfire for that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Alrighty.
Hi, I have a question.
Sure.
I have something similar to, I'm sorry. Yeah, so I have something similar to what she asked right now. I have a similar situation about 2-3 weeks ago, and my guests wouldn't leave. They extended their stay for 2 hours, and then I sent an email to the customer service showing them a proof of the video also that they're not leaving. They created so much mess in my house and broke a lot of stuff also. And the response from the customer team was very disappointed. They're pretty much asking me to send an email to them. They were threatening me already, and I mentioned that in the email, that they seemed like people from a gang member kind of stuff. They came up to my house. There was a booking of 100 people.
Wow.
So, and it was hard for me to manage by myself. And they started fighting also on my street. And I mentioned all this to the customer care, and the response was very disappointing. Like I said, I was supposed to charge for 2 hours extra also, plus the stuff that they broke. I provided all the video recordings, but the response was very very dissatisfactory.
Got it. Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm happy to chat with you if you want to send me an email offline about kind of that experience. I just don't want to make this this webinar about that. So I'll be happy to chat, and hopefully we can figure it out. In general, I would say, in regards to, like, obviously when you have 100 people there, it's very hard to tell them to leave. It's super important, and please join the Facebook group. Like, there's a lot of good feedback in there of how to make sure you don't end up in that situation, because obviously it's a situation no one wants to be in, and I'm sorry that happened. It sounds terrible. So there's, like, number of guests, questioning the guests. Hey, what is this party for? Hey, I only do small bookings, like I don't do 100-person bookings, but there are hosts that specialize in large bookings, because you can make a lot of money and will, help you, scan them. As for kind of the result of the thing, please email me, yona@swimply.com. I'm happy to chat about this offline, and kind of what happened, what the response was, and kind of work through it with you, to hopefully, so we can get to a satisfactory kind of solution there. But in general, I would say it's important to, and for everyone else, like, not to get into a situation like that it sounds terrible. I'm sorry, Amit. But it's all about, communication beforehand, understanding who your guest is. Why are they throwing this party? Is it just going to be, 121-year-olds? And I say that as a, I was 21 not so long ago, and I would not want 100 of me at a pool in my house back then. So, just kind of understanding.
I did all of that, and I appreciate you telling me all this. I did all of that. I told her about all the rules also, but people who showed up were they kind of a group which I didn't expect them to be like that. They were saying it's a birthday party for young adults, and now I think of the 100 party was the old one, which I got resolved by you by submitting a claim, which was resolved actually earlier. But this one was but this one was the 50 group, and they brought more group, and I didn't charge for that, but they extended their stay forcefully, which was kind of a little, I was kind of scared also, because the kind of people that showed up at my house.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, so I would
I'll send you an email.
Yeah, send me an email. I'm happy at least that other one got resolved. So I'll send me an email. Yeah, but again, I'm sorry that happened. That does sound pretty terrible.
Thank you.
Alrighty, James, I see you raising your hand. James, did we lose you?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Can you hear me?
I got you. What's up?
All right, sweet. Hey, yeah. So I got a couple of things. So I was looking at the Facebook. You guys had some kind of issue with the Apple Pay, and I don't know, man, I kind of got back and forth with a bunch of people, kind of try to defend you guys a lot because I mean, this is just kind of like a small, this is a small business and everything is just starting out. So you got the odds and ends and the other things, but they were just saying that it's something that's been happening for a while. I haven't had anybody do Apple Pay, but if somebody did do Apple Pay, and is there a how does that work with you guys right now? To be honest,
Got it. Yeah. So I'll explain how it works. So with Apple Pay, the way it works is it's an Apple thing, and Google is we actually don't have the credit card information. Apple sends us a token that we can charge, but it's kind of one-time charge. It's different than if the swimmer puts in credit card information onto our website. That's the way Apple and Google Pay work across all platforms. So the situation I assume where people come in is if, let's say, in a case of a meet where people come with extra guests and they don't extend on the spot or pay for it on the spot, which is what we definitely we ask like to make sure, like if people do bring extra, and this has happened to me, is just go out and be like, hey, there's a few extra guests, we can just update it. Because then if they pay with Apple Pay, it's fine. It will go through again. Apple Pay will send us another token in order to charge it. However, if they leave, then we cannot charge the card because we don't have the card. We just have the Apple Pay token. That's kind of the issue that we see, which is why it's very important to, go out if they want to pay for the extra guests, they want to pay for the extra amenity, and we made it easy to kind of request it in the app. All the guest has to do is like approve, and it will like bring them straight to the charging page, and they'll just approve, yes, pay, done. That's why we gave that. But that is the issue that people speak about, but that's kind of the background there. I hope that kind of explained it.
All right, I just wanted to know about that. I mean, I don't really have a problem with it, and I mean, at least what I see is if somebody's doing that, just tell them to leave if they're not going to follow the rules. I mean, it is what it is at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I mean, it's just space. I mean, I don't, the people that I see on there, they're like scared, and I was like, just go tell them to leave. I mean, there's like a whole bunch of pools around them. They can go disrespect somebody else's pool, man. Like, I think at least as a host, that me and my wife have hosted our pool this year in Houston. We've had really good success, but there's every now and then we'll have an issue, but at least by what I see, if you stay on top of your guests, just let them know that you're actually there. Like, we're not gonna, we're here, we're in charge, we're gonna be over here, but we're in charge. I mean, people won't run over you like that. But the other thing I got is, the messaging for the fans. We noticed we got a lot of fans, and I've literally only posted like one fan coupon, and I can't message them anymore after that. So now it used to be like two. Now I can only do it like one time, and I'm kind of confused of how many we can do. I feel like, if we're gonna promote on Instagram, we're gonna promote on Facebook, and we're gonna do all these. I mean, some people pay for ads, and I pay for Facebook ads for Swimply too. But I feel like we should be able to get those fans, because honestly, the fans are the ones that are booking. I mean, I hardly ever get anybody from Instagram, and I got a couple from Facebook a couple months ago, or this month. But the fans app, you got 500 something people sitting there with direct access. You got direct access. I'm just kind of wondering if there's going to be a different way to access your fans, because I think that's where your bookings get. Because when I get bookings and it's just random people, I can go back in the messages and say, hey, look, they've been following me since June. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they just decided to book because they're interested in it. So I think that'd be something we should look at.
Yeah, no, I believe, I thought it was 2 a week, which I think should be sufficient. I can look into it. If you're kind of seeing that it's less than that, definitely just send us an email. We'll look into it. But I believe it's going to be two a week. Is what it was supposed to do, at last I heard. So, but I'll take a second look as well.
All right, one more thing, man. So one more thing. So so we're literally on the border. I'm not even kidding. Like maybe like 20 steps, and I'd be in Houston. My pool is registered in Katy, right? But I'm in Houston, basically. I mean, I have to go by Houston standards and everything when I live over here. So we were trying to get a host party set up on our end. So when you guys want to do the host party in Houston, we were looking to try to do something like that for Cypress River Oasis and Katy. So we were trying to do that. Seeing if y'all were interested in doing something that way.
Oh, wait, is Cypress Row, is that your pool or you're saying you were working with
That's
them?
my pool. Yeah, that's my wife's
Ah,
on. So I'm driving, and my wife's on here too. So we're actually at the
ah,
webinar together.
nice.
So
Okay,
yeah,
wait, so
yeah,
so you guys were at Krill and Joey's last
yes
last
sir, yes
oh,
sir.
awesome, awesome. Well, Ariana here is the person to talk to for email.
Yep, we
To
talked to
ask
her
you
already.
email.
We're just throwing it
Oh,
out there that we're interested in it, and we got a big enough space to do it, so we're good.
awesome, awesome. Oh, I love you guys. That's
Yep.
awesome. Yeah, cool. And just kind of the second, like what you were saying about like being on top of it, like this is, each of us are running our own small business here, which is why Swimply, is giving us the tools to run it that way. But to some extent, we as hosts have to treat it like a business. And as a business owner, sometimes there are those uncomfortable situations that you may get into with your customers and your guests. But that's a part of hosting, and it gets easier over time.
Yeah, at least in the beginning, at least when we started in the beginning, my wife and I, our goal was just to do as many reviews as we could, right? Because we were just at 0. So I think once you get to that threshold where you've got a good amount of 5-star ratings, I mean, you can start stepping up and saying, hey, look, we can start adjusting what we want. We can
Hmm.
pretty much charge what we want because people like the reviews, they read it. When we get new customers, they go by the reviews. I mean, that we can speak to that. They go right
Yeah,
to the reviews and they look at that and they're just like, y'all's reviews are great. That's why we chose it. Pictures, whatever it is. But yeah, once you get that review setup thing, once you get those reviews, I think that's the way to go for the small business. But yeah, y'all are doing great for the small business world, man.
awesome.
Kudos to
Appreciate
y'all,
that.
man.
Appreciate you. That's awesome. Thank you. Alrighty, Brooklyn B guy. Here is your hand. We lose you? Brooklyn, I assume that's our name. Maybe it is though. Okay. Anyone else have any questions before we kind of wrap up?
Hey, I have a question. I'm pretty new. This was my first year doing Swimply, and I had a total of 5 bookings this year.
Nice.
With that being said, how do I drum up new business? So in my area, I'm in Georgia, like southeast of Atlanta. There's got to be probably like 20 or 30 Swimply pool people doing the same thing. So I'm just trying to figure out how do I start drum up my business for myself.
Got it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have some other webinars that we've hosted in the past talking specifically about like how to drum up business, how to, market your pool, how to get more swimmers. Which, I wouldn't be able to do justice and, answering this in a 2-minute question. What I would recommend is joining our Facebook group. There's a ton of hosts on there that can give you
I'm
more
sorry,
advice.
can you hear me now?
I can, yeah. Well, can we,
Come back to me.
I will, absolutely.
Thank you.
I got you. Yeah, so I would say there's hosts on there that, Jessica is one. I saw her in the chat. I think she gave a webinar about promoting on Instagram. There's a lot of different ways to promote. And as well, we'll link our recordings of those other webinars in there as well. So definitely join the Facebook group. It's step 1. And then in there, you'll be able to learn there are so many ways to drum a business that I don't want to just tell you like right now in 1 minute the best ways, because they're, Instagram, local flyers, Facebook groups. There's like so many great ways to do it, that you can learn all that in the Facebook group.
Okay, thank you very much.
Awesome. Alrighty, Brooklyn, what is that your name or?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. What's up?
Okay, yeah, no, my name is Mauricio. That's
Hey,
just some
Mauricio.
Zoom I had years ago. I barely use Zoom. Thank you very much, Yana. Thank you very much. Any other assistants that are out there for Swimply making this Zoom possible. We appreciate your time. So I've been here for a couple years. None of my neighbors ever knew I had Swimply. I had one big out of control party. And ever since then, they've been complaining. I was served an injunction. I went to court yesterday. A judge here in Milford, Connecticut ruled that renting out your pool is a commercial business in a residential area. I'm being fined. I've reached out to Swimply. I've reached out to the ACLU. I've talked to numerous, like about 5 attorneys. They've all told me that it's a conflict of interest, that they work with the town, and I'm stuck in a spot. And I'm paying $100 a day for every day that passes until they figure out what their parameters were for me stopping the operations. On top of that, the cops come all the time to my house. I stopped the Swimply. I stopped the the public people, and I just started having my family over a lot, and let them make noise. And the cops still come and they still report me, and I still have police reports. I fought all this in the court yesterday, and this is where I am. And I'm trying to find out. I've communicated with Swimply, and they basically just turned their back. And an attorney let me know that, hey, this is against your First Amendment rights, and you need to contact the ACLU. And if they're coming after this, I asked them about Airbnb. They said they were going after Airbnb. I showed them garage rentals. I showed them your pickleball, your basketball, whatever. They said all of it is illegal, and they are fining me. And I'm in a really tight spot. I don't want to stop Swimply, but right now I kind of need to. And I just need to get this information out there for any other people who are out there in this area. We need to come together against this tyranny, because that's all it is. All it is governments coming against us, telling us what we need to do, what we have to do with our property. And this is totally unacceptable for me. And I'm not somebody that's just going to lay down and be strong on.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Mauricio, I'm sorry that's happening. It sounds terrible. So I apologize. But yeah, I mean, you're like you said, it's intimidation. The police coming to your house when you have family over is like totally like against what we should stand for as a country. And
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I've canceled Swimply's because it was young kids. I'm sorry. Let's back up a little bit. The guy that was talking earlier, he said the people wouldn't leave. I've kicked out numerous people from here because they wouldn't keep it down, because they bought their own speaker, because they were, doing things that I asked not to do. I give them 3 warnings and they're out. And at the same time, I don't want them out because they just walk in the street because it's a bunch of Ubers getting dropped off, and then they flood the street, and then the cops get called again.
No, and again, it's just the the government just kind of intimidating you with different trying to throw different fines at you and just sending the cops to your house always, which is terrible.
Filed the injunction. Is filed. It's in court papers. I have to cease and desist. I cannot run any more people for commercial reasons. They say that it's all commercial businesses, and I couldn't find anywhere in the code that shows that it was that. They had other codes, but whatever.
Yeah, so I would say, well, being that if I think you said you're in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Milford. Yeah. So I mean, so as it's anyway kind of dying down the swimming season, I would say just also I don't want you to be paying $100 a day or racking up those fines. Like take it down, whatever they're telling you to stop for now. Go to court, talk to lawyers. Yes, talk to other Swimply hosts, Airbnb hosts in your area, and the government is wrong, and we definitely believe that. I'm not giving any legal advice here, but we do not agree that it is commercial use. You're not running a public pool. It's renting out your own home. However, there are different laws and ordinances that you have to look into. If you have not already, please reach out to regulatory@swimply.com. Our head of regulatory can look into the ordinances in your area and try to help you and guide you. We're seeing this across a lot of different communities and stuff where we're trying to skip the communities and get on the state and federal level, but it takes time. So hopefully over time, these local ordinances will lose their power if there is state and federal laws in place.
Look, this is the first one that's coming here, and if we stand together, we can bring this all the way up to the state. But me alone, like just trying to pay for the maintenance of the pool with the Swimply stuff, the one lawyer that told me he would take my case wanted almost $10,000 because he knew it was going to be big. I'm not one to get a GoFundMe page or anything like that. If anybody wants to help me, all the money's going to the attorney, but I don't have money to dish out like that. But if I did, I would in a second.
I understand, and I apologize again that you're going through it. But again, I would say, reach out to local hosts, reach out to local Airbnb hosts. They might be, all together, you guys can maybe, figure out a way to fight it is, I would say, the best way. And again, we're doing what we can on the state and federal levels because it wouldn't be possible to fight in every small ordinance as, a company to hopefully kind of stop this in its tracks, But
yeah, it's not just Swimply. You know, I came in there with my exhibit A through H, and they were like, "We're not talking about Airbnb. We're not talking about garage rentals. We're not talking about pickleball. We're not talking about basketball. We're talking about your pool in your backyard.
yeah,
Did you rent it out? Yes. Did you make money? Okay, that's illegal. Boom, they shut it down right there.
Yeah. Listen, I would say again, just reaching out to local people to kind of help you with that is probably the best shot. But I would say it's the winter. You can lie low for the next 7 months, and kind of see what you can do without kind of aggravating anyone further. I would suggest.
It's only one neighbor that keeps calling and she's spying on me. She's got pictures or whatever. Anyway, I don't want to get into it. Thank you very much for your time, Yana. Everyone else who can make this possible. And if anyone wants to reach out to me and try to help me in some kind of way, I'd much appreciate it. And this is going to be, this is going to the top. This is going to the Supreme Court.
There we go. I like to hear that. We'll get there. Alrighty. Well, thank you, Mauricio. Thank you, everyone else who joined.
Thank you very much, everybody,
for helping out here. I appreciate all you guys. Please join the Facebook group. That's where we're going to stay connected throughout the winter. We'll hopefully have some more of these. So join the group. You'll get an email if you are interested in homes again, or if you know someone's interested in homes. We'll send out a form that you can fill out to apply to be on the wait list.
Still ask questions or no?
Sorry.
Can you still ask more questions, or is that it?
You know what? For you, we'll squeeze in another question.
Okay, perfect. So right now, I have all good reviews. I have all 5-star reviews, like almost 50. My one thing is, like some people were talking about having these bad situations. I've had some, but I'm not so hard on them. You know what I mean? Like I'll kind of let some things go. I've had some damage. I don't say anything. My concern is I don't want to get a bad review, especially with the rankings and all that. So is there ever going to be a situation where, like, what if someone, you did everything you could, but then they put a bad review? Can you ever get either that taken away, or how sometimes you on like a Google review, the person can have like a rebuttal kind of thing?
Yes.
Like I said, I don't have that situation yet, but I want to, like, it'll make me, feel more comfortable in certain other situations, what I can say. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So with reviews, there's actually some like pretty strict legal parameters around removing reviews. So unless it like directly kind of violates any of the parameters that are set legally for a unlawful review, we as a company can't remove it actually to like stay fair and as a marketplace. That being said, I am pushing for, like you said, the rebuttal, the response to reviews, to give hosts at least a chance to explain why this would happen or the side of the story. So I like that. It's a badge of honor for kicking them out. Christina said that, but yeah, we're working on the hopefully the response to reviews. I'm trying to push that. No promises, but it's definitely.
Can I add something to this?
Sure.
Okay. I'm not sure. You just mentioned something. There is a state law or a federal law, something that you as a platform cannot remove the reviews. Is that what you mentioned?
Yes.
I'm not sure how true is that, because I just had a recent experience with Airbnb. On this Labor weekend, I went out, and this was my second experience with Airbnb, and it was horrible because the host actually lied about the bedroom, how many beds that he has. I wanted 3 beds, and he had only 2 beds and one of futon, which is pull-on sofa. So I left a review, and they deleted my review on based off, and then I found a website called airbnbhell.com. I'm not sure if anybody is aware of that, but there is actually a website, airbnbhell.com, and what that does is, because guests are not able to find negative reviews on the host listings, and if they leave it as a platform, Airbnb deletes every one of them.
So I mean, I can tell you that there are definitely laws in place. You can try to bring that up to Airbnb. It could be they'll claim you violated one of the rules if you want to, take them to court, or it could be Airbnb is waiving their right as a platform and they're kind of considering itself a private business, in which case they can do their own thing. There are other reasons why they would want to stay as a platform that are kind of complicated and we don't have to get into. But yeah, if you think it was wrong, you should reach out to them, because there are strict laws around for specifically platforms and not just deleting reviews. So either they are waiving their right as a platform and then they can do whatever they want, or they're in the wrong and you can actually kind of call them out and escalate it. I wouldn't even know to who, but there are definitely laws in place.
But you also have rules in place that if a guest is retaliating against a host, then you can remove that review, right?
Yes, there are. Yes, like I said, there are if there are certain, if they're being racist or there are reasons we can remove reviews. I'm just saying, just because there's a disagreement between the host and guest, unfortunately we won't be able to, even if I believe the host, or even if, let's say, it's myself and I know it's true, we're not able to just remove it as a platform.
Okay.
Sure. I was going to say one last quick question. Sorry, I got to go too. I'm sure you want to wrap this up. Just in regards to, and thank you for the seminar, because I've learned a lot of things I didn't know before. So you said under our account we can add a secondary listing, which is smart, because I wanted to do something for my back. I have a big backyard, so for the space, right, with the fires and like you said, football kind of get-togethers and showers and all that. So that's nice to know I can add a secondary feature. I'm also up north too, like you. So I have like a backyard skating rink usually in the winter.
Awesome.
So I was thinking about if you could have something like that as well, and then keep it open for the winter.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. Then the other thing I wanted to ask is, what about like how you have the liability protection, all that? Is all that translated to all of the other events or whatever you hosted? Like the liability and the damage protection and stuff, would that translate to no matter what other feature you added?
I wouldn't say no matter what. That's why, like, especially with the ice skating rink, I don't know if that's covered. That's why if you would list it, it probably would become waitlisted until we would either decide to officially launch it and include it, or and not include it.
Okay,
but like,
so you have a list of things then on there besides the pool where your liability.
Yeah. When you go through, well, also when you go through onboarding, there's like different options that you'll see that you can check off and stuff.
Okay, so